Life can feel overwhelming, can't it? The weight of worries, fears, and uncertainties can leave us feeling trapped, wondering if we're strong enough to face it all. But what if I told you that you don't have to carry this burden alone? In this video, we'll uncover a transformative truth. There's a peace that surpasses all understanding, a strength greater than your struggles, and a path that leads to joy, no matter how dark life seems. Together, we'll explore how faith can quiet the storms in your heart, how trusting God can replace fear with hope, and how the present moment holds the key to your freedom. Whether you're battling anxiety, struggling with uncertainty, or simply yearning for peace, this video is your invitation to step into a life of deeper trust, unshakable faith, and true rest. Stay with me until the end, when we'll share a powerful prayer and embrace the life-changing wisdom that will empower you to overcome your worries. Don't let fear hold you back. Discover the freedom, hope, and strength waiting for you. You're not alone in this journey, and the peace you seek is closer than you think. Let's begin. Before we start, I'd appreciate your support. If you liked the video, please subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated on future lessons from God. This message is for you. Yes, you, the one who feels like the weight of the world is pressing down on your shoulders. You're weary, aren't you? Not just physically tired, but emotionally and spiritually drained. You've been carrying burdens that weren't meant for you to bear alone, trying to solve problems that feel impossible, worrying about things that you were never meant to hold on to. You've reached a point where you wonder how much more you can take. It's time to let go, my friend. It's time to surrender. Listen closely. You are not alone in this struggle. I am here with you, walking this path alongside you. Even more, God is with you. Right here, right now. He sees the tears you've cried in silence, the worries that have stolen your peace, and the moments when you felt like giving up. He's been with you through every sleepless night, every anxious thought, and every whispered prayer. And at the end of this message, we will come together in prayer, a prayer of release, of trust, and with. Together, we'll hand over these burdens to the one who can carry them for us. Before we go any further, I want to invite you to take a leap of faith. Stay with me on this journey. Connect, subscribe, and open your heart to the possibility of something new. I truly believe that God is preparing a fresh chapter for your life, something filled with peace, joy, and freedom from the anxieties that have weighed you down for far too long. He is inviting you to step out of the darkness of worry and into the light of His grace. He doesn't want you to be a slave to the uncertainties of tomorrow. He longs for you to find rest in the truth that He is in control. Choose today to lean into this truth, beloved. This moment is a sacred opportunity, a turning point. It's the beginning of a new journey, a journey of surrender, trust, and transformation. Let me remind you of something that can completely change the way you see your life. Jesus doesn't want you to spend your precious energy battling fears about things that may never even happen. He doesn't want you to lose yourself in the endless maze of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. Instead, He's calling you to live fully, completely, right now, in the present moment. Why? Because this moment is where His grace is unfolding. Think about it. How much time have you spent worrying about things that never even came to pass? How many hours have you wasted, imagining problems and catastrophes that never became real? The truth is, the future is beyond our control. We can't move mountains that haven't even formed yet, and we can't rewrite what God has already predestined. Yet so often, we find ourselves consumed by fear. What if something goes wrong? What if I get sick? What if I lose my job? What if there's a financial disaster? What if everything falls apart? These thoughts may feel natural, but they are thieves. They steal your joy, your peace, and your ability to fully experience the blessings of the present moment. Every time you dwell on these fears, you are borrowing trouble from an uncertain future while neglecting the beauty and goodness that God has placed in your life right now. Let me ask you this. How many sunsets have you missed because your mind was tangled in worry? How many moments of laughter, connection, and love have slipped away unnoticed because you were too busy preparing for storms that never came? God is calling you to stop. Stop letting fear and anxiety control your life. Stop letting them rob you of the joy and peace that are yours to claim. He wants you to know that you don't have to carry these burdens anymore. He wants you to lay them down at His feet, to release them into His capable hands. He has promised to never leave you, never forsake you, and He is faithful to His word. He is already at work in your life, even in ways you can't see. He is weaving something beautiful, something redemptive, something that will take your breath away if you trust Him enough to let go. Take a deep breath right now. Feel the weight begin to lift, even if just a little. Close your eyes and imagine handing over your fears, your worries, your anxieties, all of it, to God. Picture Him taking them from you, one by one, and replacing them with peace, comfort, and assurance. He is strong enough to carry what you cannot. And here's the truth, my dear friend. You were never meant to do this alone. God didn't design you to bear the weight of the world by yourself. He created you to walk in partnership with Him, to lean on Him when life feels overwhelming. He has also placed people in your life to support and encourage you. You are not alone in this battle, but it requires a step of faith. It requires trust. It requires choosing to believe, even when it feels hard, that God is bigger than your fears and more powerful than your problems. It requires letting go of the illusion of control and embracing the truth that His plans for you are good, even when you can't see the full picture. This is your invitation to surrender, to release, to trust, to stop clinging to fear and to start resting in the assurance of God's love, to stop worrying about tomorrow and to start living fully in the grace of today. As we close this moment together, I want to encourage you once again. You don't have to walk this journey alone. Let's take this step together, hand in hand, trusting that God is leading the way. This is just the beginning of something beautiful, something transformative. You are loved, you are seen, and you are not forgotten. The one who created the stars and calls them by name also calls you by name. He is with you, even now, inviting you to lay down your burdens and step into His peace. So, take that deep breath. Let it out. And trust that the God who holds the universe is holding you, too. Together, let's move forward, one step at a time, one prayer at a time, into the freedom, joy, and peace that He has promised. This is your moment. Let's begin. Take a deep breath and let this truth settle in your heart. In this very moment, there is no health crisis. Your body may not be perfect, but it is sustaining you, carrying you through the gift of another day. Why not take this moment to thank God for the health you have right now, for the breath in your lungs, the strength in your spirit, and the ability to keep going despite life's challenges? Why not pause and praise Him for His grace, which has carried you through every trial you thought would break you? If you're haunted by the fear of losing your job, take a moment to shift your focus. Instead of dwelling on what could go wrong, why not redirect that energy into serving with excellence? Pour your heart into your work, not out of fear, but out of faith that God sees your efforts and values your diligence. Trust that where you are now is no accident. He has placed you here for a purpose. Use this moment to add value, to shine with integrity, and to give your best. Your future is not determined by fear, but by the faithfulness of a God who holds your tomorrow. And if the weight of financial worry is pressing on your heart, remind yourself of this. It hasn't happened yet. The fear of a setback may feel overwhelming, but it is only a shadow, one that disappears when you shine the light of God's truth upon it. Anxiety cannot change the future, but it can steal your peace in the present. Trusting in God, however, equips you to face any challenge with courage and grace. Remember, He is your provider, your sustainer, and your strength. Even if storms come, His hand will guide you through them. The key to breaking free from these fears is simple yet profoundly powerful. Rejoice in the now. The present is a gift, a sacred moment given by God for you to live, treat, grow, and be grateful. Worry about tomorrow robs you of today's blessings, and every time you allow fear to take hold, you lose a moment of joy, of peace, of beauty. Why waste the gift of today by fretting over problems that may never even arise? Let this truth anchor you. The present is where God meets you. It's the space where His grace is most evident, where His love surrounds you, and where His strength sustains you. When you focus on this moment, on what is real, what is good, and what is true, you begin to see the countless blessings that are already in your life. You start to notice the beauty of a sunrise, the kindness of a friend, the warmth of a smile, and the miracle of simply being alive. Someone wisely said, "Some people spend their entire lives worrying about things that never happen, and in doing so, they miss the blessings of what is already going right." How true those words are. These what-if thoughts are nothing but traps, designed to pull you away from the joy of the present. They are like thieves in the night, stealing your peace and leaving you emotionally drained and spiritually poorer. Worrying about the future is like investing in the worst business imaginable, one that offers no return and only takes more than it gives. So today, make a choice. Choose to live fully in the now. Choose to trust in the one who holds the future, the one who has promised to never leave you or forsake you. Instead of worrying about what could go wrong, celebrate what is going right. Instead of dreading what might happen, rejoice in the blessings that are happening right now. Take a moment to close your eyes and breathe deeply. Feel the weight of fear begin to lift as you remind yourself that God is in control. Say it out loud if you need to. I trust you, Lord. I trust your plan, your timing, and your provision. I surrender my fears to you and choose to rest in your peace. Let those words sink deep into your soul. The present is not just a fleeting moment. It's a divine appointment. It's a chance for you to grow in faith, experience God's love, and reflect His goodness in your life. It's a moment to stop striving, to stop fearing, and to simply be. Be present. Be grateful. Be at peace. Live today as if it's the gift it truly is. Embrace it with open hands, knowing that God's plans for you are good. Celebrate the health you have, the work you do, the blessings that surround you, and the grace that sustains you. This moment, right here, is where life happens. This is where God's love is most real. Trust Him, rest in Him, and let your heart be filled with the joy that only He can provide. The future can wait. Today is yours to live. But Jesus, in His infinite wisdom, gave us clear and loving guidance in Matthew 6 verse 34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. He understood the human tendency to let anxiety about the unknown steal our peace and distract us from the blessings and responsibilities of today. Jesus, in His compassion, invites us to release these burdens, to live fully in the present, and to trust Him with the rest. Anxiety about the future isn't just exhausting, it distances us from God. When we are consumed by fear, we rely on our limited strength instead of seeking the relief, comfort, and direction that only God can provide. Take a moment to pause and reflect on this truth. You are not just anyone. You are a child of God, and that changes everything. While the world may spiral into worry, consumed by what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, we, as believers, are called to a higher way. While others around us fret, we turn to prayer. While the world grows restless, we find solace in praise, even when life feels uncertain. This is what sets us apart. Not perfection, but our faith. We walk not by sight, but by trust in the one who sees everything. Today, I encourage you to stay present with Jesus. Don't rush ahead of Him. Don't try to predict what's next or take control of things that only He can manage. Trust in His timing, in His plan, and His promises. The present is where God's grace is most alive in your life. It's where His peace becomes tangible and His love becomes unmistakable. The future may be unknown, but the present is where you can rest in Him. His presence brings clarity to your confusion, strength to your weariness, and peace to your troubled heart. Beloved, today is no ordinary day. It is the day the Lord has made, filled with possibilities, hope, and opportunities to trust Him more deeply. Even if you feel lost, overwhelmed, or without direction, cling to this truth. God is never caught off guard. What feels impossible to you is completely within His power. He is never shaken, never unprepared, and never out of options. Fear thrives in uncertainty, whispering lies that you're alone, that there's no solution, and that chaos will have the final word. But faith silences those lies with the truth that God is in control. Faith reminds us that He can bring order out of chaos, peace out of turmoil, and joy out of despair. So why let fear take hold? Fear is a thief. It steals your joy, your hope, and your trust in God. Every time we give in to fear, we are, in a sense, saying, God, I don't believe you will handle this. But He invites us into a different kind of life, a life built on faith, where peace doesn't depend on circumstances but on the unwavering certainty that God is good and His plans for us are perfect. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I don't know what burden you're carrying today. It might be a financial worry that keeps you up at night, a relationship that feels broken beyond repair, or a health concern that fills you with dread. Whatever it is, hear this: you don't have to carry it alone. Antidepressants, therapy, and self-help strategies can offer some relief, but they cannot fill the deepest void in your soul. Only God can do that. He is not distant or uninterested. He is near, alive, and waiting for you to come to Him. Sometimes, it's only when we reach the very end of ourselves that we truly find Him. Maybe it's time to say, Lord, I understand now. I've been trying to do this on my own, and I can't anymore. I surrender. I will stop living by sight and start living by faith. No matter how big your pain, no matter how broken things feel, God can restore, redeem, and remake. He can turn your mourning into dancing, your sorrow into joy. But this requires a choice to stop worrying and to trust Him completely. Worry is like a weed. If you feed it, it grows and spreads, choking out your faith and leaving you drained. It becomes so familiar that you forget how to let it go. But you don't have to live this way. Jesus' words in Matthew 6 verse 34 are not just kind suggestions. They are powerful instructions. He calls us to live a life not dominated by fear of the unknown, but sustained by trust in His provision. Throughout the Bible, God tells us again and again, do not worry. Do not fear. At first, these words may feel unrealistic, even dismissive of our struggles, but they are rooted in His deep love for us. God understands that worry drains our energy, divides our focus, and steals the joy He has so freely given. That's why He doesn't just tell us not to worry. He offers us a solution. Cast your cares on Him. Worry can't change the past, and it won't guarantee control over the future. All it does is imprison you, keeping you locked in a cycle of fear and uncertainty. But when you face challenges that feel impossible, remember this: you are not in control, but you are loved by the one who is. Jesus, our Savior, holds the world in His hands. He knows the beginning and the end of all things, including every detail of your life. He reminds us in Luke 12 verse 7, "Indeed, the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows." This is not just a comforting thought, it's transformative. It's a call to live differently, to walk in the peace that comes from trusting God. It's an invitation to trade fear for faith, worry for worship, and anxiety for assurance. So today, take that step. Trust Him. Rest in His promises. Let go of the fear that has been weighing you down and embrace the peace that only He can provide. Say it out loud if you need to. Lord, I trust You. I surrender my fears to You, and I choose to walk by faith, not by sight. And as you go forward, remember this: God's love for you is unshakable. His plans for you are good. His grace is sufficient, and His presence is with you, now and always. Let today be the day you stop worrying and start truly living in the peace and joy that come from trusting Him completely. This is your invitation to freedom. Will you accept it? You are not a mistake. You are not the result of some random accident or fleeting whim. Before you ever took your first breath, before your name was ever spoken aloud, you were known, deeply, intimately, and fully known by the one who created you. He formed you with care, weaving every part of your being with purpose, intention, and love. In His eyes, you are not an afterthought but a masterpiece, intricately designed for a life that carries meaning far beyond what you might see right now. Even in your most uncertain moments, even when doubt whispers lies into your heart, know this: you were created for a reason, and your life matters. Every tear that slips silently down your cheek, every sigh that escapes your lips when no one is around, and every fear that grips your soul in the dead of night, He sees it all. He doesn't just notice, He feels it with you. He is there, present in the shadows of your pain, holding you with hands that have never failed. He hears the unspoken cries of your heart, the ones you're too afraid to share with anyone else. He understands the questions that haunt you, the what-ifs, the whys, and the how-longs, and He doesn't turn away. No detail of your life is too small for His attention, no struggle too insignificant for His care. You are loved with a love so vast, so unconditional, that it cannot be measured. You are known in ways even you cannot fully comprehend, and you are never, ever alone. Worry has a way of consuming us, doesn't it? It creeps into our minds, taking root and growing like a weed, choking out our peace and clouding our vision. But here's the truth. 1,000 years of worry will never accomplish what a single day of trusting in God can do. Worry is like spinning in circles. It keeps you busy, it makes you feel like you're doing something, but in reality, you're going nowhere. It drains your energy, saps your joy, and leaves you feeling more lost than ever. Trust, on the other hand, is transformative. Trust doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you. God doesn't ask for your trust because He needs it to be powerful. He is already all-powerful. He asks for your trust because He knows you need the peace and freedom it brings. He knows how desperately you need to let go of the burdens that weigh you down and place them into His capable hands. So today, let go. Choose to trust. Choose to believe that the same God who set the stars in the sky and knows them all by name is intimately involved in every detail of your life. He sees the burdens you carry, your fears about the future, your worries for your family, your struggles with what feels like too much to bear, and He longs to carry them for you. Imagine for a moment what it would feel like to release it all. The tension in your shoulders, the heaviness in your chest, the ache in your heart. Imagine handing it all over to Him and feeling the weight lift as He takes it upon Himself. That's what He's offering you, a chance to rest, to breathe, and to find peace amid life's storms. He's not asking you to figure it all out. He's not expecting you to have all the answers or to solve all the problems. He's simply asking you to trust Him, to trust that He is good, that He is faithful, and that He is for you. The same God who provided manna in the wilderness, who calmed the storm with a word, who multiplied loaves and fishes to feed thousands. He is the same God who is at work in your life today. He hasn't changed, and He never will. Think about how much time and energy we spend worrying. We lie awake at night, replaying worst-case scenarios in our minds, trying to control outcomes that are beyond our reach. We exhaust ourselves with what-ifs and if only, turning over problems that feel impossible to solve. But what if we used that energy differently? What if, instead of worrying, we prayed? What if we spent those restless moments pouring out our hearts to God, asking Him for wisdom, guidance, and peace? What if we chose gratitude over anxiety, focusing on the blessings we already have instead of the uncertainties we fear? It wouldn't just change our perspective, it would change our lives. The storms of life are inevitable. They will come, and they will test us. They will shake us and stretch us in ways we didn't think we could endure. But the storm isn't the real challenge. The real challenge is how we choose to respond. We can choose to let fear overwhelm us, to let it paralyze us and steal our joy. Or we can choose to trust that even amid the storm, God is with us. Both choices take energy, but only one leads to peace. Trust doesn't mean the storm will vanish instantly. It doesn't mean life will suddenly become easy or pain-free. But it does mean that you can find calm in the chaos, that you can stand firm in the knowledge that you are not alone. This peace is not about denying reality or pretending that everything is fine. It's about acknowledging the challenges and fears you face while choosing to believe that God is bigger than them all. It's about remembering that Jesus, who walked this earth fully human, understands what you're going through. He faced hunger, exhaustion, rejection, and pain. He wasn't shielded from the struggles of life. He lived them fully. And yet, He didn't worry. He didn't let fear dictate His actions. He trusted His Father completely, knowing that provision and guidance would come at the perfect time. When you look at the life of Jesus, you see a life marked by trust. He didn't panic when faced with impossible situations. He didn't lose sleep over how to feed thousands of people or how to pay the temple tax. Instead, He rested in the knowledge that His Father was in control. And because of that trust, miracles followed. Needs were met in ways that defied logic. Lives were transformed. Problems that seemed insurmountable were resolved. That same power is available to you today if only you choose to trust. Let this be the day you surrender your worries, your fears, and your doubts to the one who loves you more than you can imagine. Let His peace wash over you, calming the storm within your soul. Trust that He is working, even when you can't see it. Trust that He is for you, even when life feels against you. And trust that His plans for you are good, even when you don't understand them. He is inviting you into a life of trust, a life of peace, a life of freedom from the chains of worry. Will you take His hand and step into that life? The choice is yours, and the transformation it brings will be worth every step of faith you take. The same God who took care of Jesus, guiding him through every trial and providing for him in every moment, wants to take care of you today. He sees your struggles, your sleepless nights, and the way worry pulls you down like a relentless current. But he invites you to stop fighting against the tide of anxiety and instead rest in the safety of his care. Trust that even when you cannot see his hand at work, he is already moving on your behalf, orchestrating details and preparing breakthroughs that will leave you in awe. Think about the unwavering trust Jesus demonstrated. Even when faced with what seemed hopeless, hungry crowds with no food, storms that threatened to overwhelm, or rejection from those he came to save, Jesus didn't panic. He trusted his Father completely, knowing that God's power to provide and perform miracles was unlimited. That same power is available to you today. Even when your circumstances feel impossible, God is fully capable of turning the impossible into undeniable victory. Let yourself believe that miracles are not relics of the past but real, tangible expressions of God's love and power. Remember the story of Jesus feeding over 5,000 men with just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish? It wasn't just about meeting a physical need, it was a testimony of God's ability to do more than we could ever imagine. Not only did everyone eat their fill, but there were also 12 baskets of leftovers. That abundance wasn't accidental. It was a declaration that God doesn't just meet needs, he exceeds them. That same Jesus, who performed miracles to demonstrate God's glory, is alive today and fully able to meet your needs. God is infinitely wise, completely good, and unfailingly sovereign. He sees the entirety of your life, the struggles you face today, the victories waiting for tomorrow, and the path that will lead you there. He knows the end from the beginning and is never caught off guard. Even when you feel like everything around you is spinning out of control, God remains steady and unshaken. No storm is too great, no problem too complex, and no battle too fierce for him. While you may feel lost and unsure of your next step, God already knows the way forward. He doesn't just see the obstacles, he sees the victory on the other side. Because of this, you can rest in him. You don't have to have all the answers or carry every burden on your own. The best decision you can make is to surrender your fears, your questions, and your uncertainties to the one who holds the universe in his hands. Imagine walking side by side with God, the one who loves you unconditionally and has the answers to your heart's deepest questions. When you're tempted to overthink or seek solutions in your strength, pause. Instead of rushing to Google or obsessing over every possible outcome, take a moment to turn to God and say, Lord, I don't know what to do, but I trust you to lead me. This small shift, choosing trust over anxiety, changes everything. In both scenarios, you face the same circumstances, but your response determines the outcome. Worry leads to exhaustion, fear, and the crushing weight of feeling alone. Trust leads to peace, comfort, and the unshakable assurance that God is in control. This choice, to trust or to worry, doesn't just shape how you feel, it shapes the direction of your life. One of the clearest signs that you're drifting away from God is when worry begins to dominate your thoughts and steal your peace. But the beauty of God's love is that he always welcomes you back. No matter how far you've drifted, you can return to him right now, casting all your cares on the one who is both willing and able to carry them. God is faithful. Even when you can't see the path ahead, he has already prepared a way. Even when you feel overwhelmed, he is working for your good. Trusting him doesn't mean everything will be resolved instantly, but it means you can find peace in the waiting. When you choose to live by faith rather than overthinking, you open the door to the kind of peace that surpasses all understanding. The burdens you carry were never meant to be yours alone. Trying to control everything on your own is like navigating a stormy sea without an anchor. The weight of it will exhaust you, and the lack of direction will leave you lost. But God is your anchor, steady and unmovable, ready to guide you through even the fiercest storm. The Bible reminds us that nothing is too hard for God. There is no situation so dire, no mistake so irreversible, and no problem so big that he cannot handle it. But faith is the key that unlocks his power in your life. When we choose to worry over trust, we limit what God can do. Not because he lacks power, but because faith is the channel through which he works. Anxiety is a heavy burden, draining your spirit, clouding your mind, and even affecting your body. It steals your joy, leaving you vulnerable to doubt and despair. But you are not alone. As a follower of Christ, You are never left to face life's challenges on your own. God is by your side, not as a distant observer but as an active participant in your life. He sees your struggles, He feels your pain, and He cares deeply about every detail. The things that weigh on your heart today, the worries that keep you up at night or consume your thoughts, are small in comparison to God's infinite power. What feels overwhelming to you is effortless for Him. But here's an important truth to remember. God doesn't always solve our problems immediately. Why? Because it's through the process of trusting Him that we grow. As you learn to lean on Him, your faith deepens, your fears diminish, and your confidence in His goodness becomes unshakable. The delays are not denials. They are opportunities for growth and transformation. So today, take a step of faith. Release your worries into God's hands. Trust Him to do what only He can do. Allow yourself to rest in the knowledge that the same God who provided for Jesus, who multiplied loaves and fishes, who calmed storms and healed the sick, is the same God who loves you and is working in your life. His power has not diminished, and His love for you is unwavering. Trust Him, and watch as He takes what feels impossible and turns it into something beautiful. He longs for you to see, with your own eyes and feel with your own heart, that His grace is truly enough. Letting go of worry isn't a sign of indifference or carelessness. It doesn't mean you stop valuing your life, your family, or your future. Instead, it's the profound acknowledgement that there is someone greater, someone who cares for you even more deeply than you could ever imagine. It's the realization that your concerns, while valid, are not yours to carry alone. Just as He tenderly cares for the birds of the sky, providing for their every need without fail, how much more will He provide for you, whom He created in His image and loves beyond measure? Trusting God doesn't require you to have all the answers or see the full picture. It's about believing in His goodness, even when the results aren't immediate or the road ahead seems unclear. His plans for you are not only good, they are perfect. They are crafted with infinite wisdom, guided by boundless love, and orchestrated with your ultimate well-being in mind. Letting go of your worries and placing your trust in Him is an act of faith that invites His divine presence into your life in extraordinary ways. When you cast your cares upon God and truly entrust Him with your heart, something remarkable begins to unfold. It's not just a feeling, it's a transformation. Peace. Not an ordinary peace, but one that surpasses all human understanding. It's a peace that stands firm in the face of chaos, that quiets the relentless noise of doubt, and that allows you to exhale deeply, assured that you are safe in the hands of the Creator of the universe. This peace is a gift, freely offered, but it requires a decision, the decision to trust. If you are still watching this video, and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Today, make that decision. Lay down the burdens you were never meant to carry and exchange them for the peace that only God can provide. Trust in the One who holds all things together, whose promises are steadfast and true. What He has spoken, He will fulfill. What He has begun in you, He will bring to completion. Choose to rest in that certainty. It's not about ignoring life's difficulties, but about embracing the truth that you don't have to face them alone. This peace, this gift from God, has the power to change everything. It doesn't promise a life without challenges, but it offers joy even amidst adversity. It reminds you that your faith is not built on shifting circumstances, but on the unwavering foundation of God's faithfulness. The trials you face may be intense, but they are not without purpose. In the refining fire of difficulties, your trust in Him grows stronger, and your testimony becomes a source of encouragement for others. When you let go of control and place your faith in Him, you begin to see life through a different lens. You realize that even in the hardest moments, there is a reason to hope. You become a living reminder to others that peace, joy, and strength are possible, even in life's darkest hours. By trusting God, you become a beacon of light, a testimony to His power, and a reflection of His grace. So, open your heart to His peace today. Allow His love to fill the spaces where worry once lived. Trust that He is already working in ways you cannot see, preparing blessings and victories that will exceed your expectations. Let go of the fear that paralyzes you, and step into the freedom that comes from trusting the God who holds your future securely in His hands. This is your invitation to rest, to breathe, and to live with the confidence that His grace is, and always will be, enough. As we come to the end of this video, Take a moment to reflect on everything you've heard. What resonated with you the most? What have you learned about letting go of worry, trusting in God, and embracing His peace in your life? We'd love to hear from you. What is one thing you've learned today that you plan to put into practice in your journey? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story may inspire and encourage others who are watching. If you found value in this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for joining us, and may you walk forward in peace, trust, and the assurance of God's faithful love.